Hi guys, as you can see it's me Scrivo. Welcome to the Black Rage. This is a little quick show. We've just had, as you can imagine, the Balance Dataslate has just dropped. So as well as that being quite a big thing across the game, so there's a lot of vanilla Space Marine changes, there's been a couple of interaction changes, clarifications. We've had the Blood Angels points. So what I'm going to do is go through anything that has changed from the Codex, and then we can have a kind of a feel of where we're going to be with it. So, right, let's start off. Astaroth, in the book, was 105 points. Still 105 points, perfect. Mephiston, 125. I think he might end up going down a little bit after this, but at the moment, I think he's somewhere in the sweet spot, perhaps. So, Dante, 130. He's not massively changed from the index. Not too much of a surprise. Lamartes has gone up to 110. I think with the frequency you would see him in index lists, this makes sense. Sanguinaur, 140. I feel like this is one that we'll need to see, because although it's a very cool tech piece, on the bigger base, there may be slightly different usage to it. There may not be always those slots where you can get that little dinky base anymore, because it's a big chonker now. Right. And then for characters, the Blood Angels captain has gone up, the Death Company captain has gone down, and the Sanguinary priests are as they were in the book. So these all feel entirely reasonable to me. The biggest changes, though, are things like the Bile Predator has gone up. So the profile where it's always assault now, that makes sense. It did feel a bit too cheap when the book was first printed and thrown out there. Death Company Dreadnought has gone down to 180. That is at that point now I go, well, actually those points, I could justify sneaking one into a list. Obviously if you're playing Angelic Host, maybe not, but we'll see. Death Company Marines, they have gone down a little bit. That is in line with what the bolt rifle ones are, which I think is nice, because it becomes a plug and play. You can choose which, if you've got 90 points spare, which one you go with. Kind of makes sense. Death Company Jump Pack guys have gone up a little bit. They did feel pretty efficient. Even though they've had obviously the loadout changes where they're now not tons of fists, still pretty good. Sanguinary Guard. Now this is the one that I'm going to watch. This is the one I'm not too sure is quite right. It could be a bit too cheap, but we'll have to see. So these are now 135 for 3 and 270 for 6. What I think will be interesting to see here is, will we see 2 bricks of 6? Are we going to see the full 18? If we start seeing the full 18 in an Angelic Host list, that's when I'd start to question maybe they are a bit too cheap. But we've got one more Balance Dataslate of the year left, so it'll be interesting to see. Right, and then we've got enhancements, because they've all shifted a little bit. So the Icon of the Angel has gone up to 20 points in Liberator Assault Group. Makes sense. This one did feel very value free. It felt very cheap to me. I was like, okay. Then in the Lost Brethren, nothing's changed. Clearly they have what they want to be doing with the Death Company detachment, and it's doing its thing. I'm less excited by this detachment, but that is because I like the idea of the Angelic Host, like a lot of people do, where it's like fast moving jump pack guys running around screaming. Looked really much more interesting than that, and not being beholden to being all Death Company. And then finally, the Angelic Host. I keep talking about it. It's very exciting. Everything's been nudged up a little bit. Some of them did look a little bit too cheap. I think when you take into account that these are being added to characters that may have had a points nudge, it's not so bad. But yeah, what I'm looking forward to seeing is, moving forward, we're going to obviously see a lot of the lists start to form. I'm not too sure if we're going to see lots of the Death Company detachment, but we will have to see. I think Angelic Host is definitely going to get people's attention to start with, but the Liberator Battle Group is pretty solid, so I'm very curious to see. So what I'm going to do is, the next video for this will be probably a bit more spontaneous. It won't necessarily be a planned thing. It'll be kind of my hobby progress, perhaps, because for my next couple of events, I'm going Dark Angels. Obviously, the Blood Angel stuff, there's a lot of new toys to build and paint, so I need to take my time on that. We want to do it right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, don't forget to like the video if you can. Leave me a comment about what you're most excited about in the Blood Angels Codex. Now we've got the juicy points, and how many points did you save off your original proposed lists? Because to me, suddenly I've got a couple hundred points where I was like thinking, oh, maybe I'll assume they've gone up a little bit, and they've not. So let's see. And of course, if you really like the channel, please subscribe, and I'll keep up the good work for you. Thank you guys. Take care.